Aloha, and thank you for joining. This is Hope Johnson with Wisdom Dialogues coming to you from the beautiful big island of Hawaii. I'm on with my friend and neighbor right now, Kaunohi, and she has something she would like to talk about. What's going on, Kaunohi?
Oh, yeah, so many wonderful things. We just have to be open to whatever divine presents before us. It's always in the present moment that we realize, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
hmm So, what do you think about that?
Well, one thing that people ask me, a lot of the times people will say, well, I totally agree with you, I'm not going to argue about that or anything, but it seems like I don't have a choice. Like I'm just being drawn into this, almost like I'm a robot. Like I'm a robot of the mind. It's like I'm drawn into this program, you know. And for me at least, I could share my own experience as far as it comes up as an intense energy sensation.
I,
We're not focused so much on the surface of what's going on, really everything on the surface is meaningless in a way that it can't affect us,
I.
and meaningful in the way that it can teach us.
I.
basically by triggering that reaction within us, you know, it just came to me today when I was walking around in my garden, and I thought about someone, maybe saying something critical to me that might be taken as critical, maybe saying something critical to me, and realizing that wow, how grateful I would be. I could just see myself, you know, looking at them with such gratitude and being like, thank you for bringing up that reaction in me.
That's a good one.
Yeah, when you have that approach, everything is revealed.
Yes,
Everything
yes,
gets revealed. You
yes.
really
Aha,
see
aha
through,
moments, right? Aha moments.
yeah, and you see through this illusion of separation to,
hmm
oh yeah, that's me. It's not separate from me. And
hmm
then and then it's so playful. It's so light and playful. It's so fun.
I.
But then that's all. But then that's all where it is. It's not in, if there's thoughts that say I need to find my purpose in this world, and that's also a distraction,
hmm
because we already are that. It's
hmm
just these ideas that we need to be something other than we are, and that's what drives the whole thing.
hmm Right.
Identification as this illusory self, an image, basically an image pasted, kind of like, just superimposed over the immaculate, the shining, the glorious. You
Yes.
know, the something that cannot be polluted in any way, shape, or form.
Right. It's the veil. The
Yes.
veil between the
Yes.
veil. So once you come through the veil, there is truth before you.
Yes. Thank you, Kalanoi. And then you can laugh and play again, and it doesn't seem like anyone is a threat.
Yeah. I like you. I'm constantly smiling and laughing, and it's my child awaken again.
Yes, yes.
Right.
It's like it's almost like it's almost like finally this loving parent has arrived to let this child just be embraced as it is.
I.
It's almost like that. It's almost like an integration like that, just a real sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the happy dream.
It is a happy dream. We call it the mele mele. Mele mele is the story of the dream, right? That you
Oh, really?
create. Mele
Okay.
mele. Mm-hmm. Mele
Ooh,
mele.
oh no,
Yeah.
thank you.
Anytime you double a word, it's
Mhm.
much more. It's much more when you double
Okay.
it. Yeah. Mele
Okay.
mele, pono pono, you know.
Mhm.
Ho'oponopono is to be in the cause and the action of healing, right? Ho'oponopono, the balance.
Oh, so beautiful.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
recognizing that we have dominion over everything in the illusory world. That's what
Ta-da!
that's what that's what Ho'oponopono shows. You know, it's like
Yes.
it's anything that's painted over the real world,
Mhm.
which knows nothing other than love.
Mhm.
It's just something that's imagined.
Mhm.
Ho'oponopono is kind of like, yeah, I see that there. It looks real, and and I see through it.
How wonderful that is, right?
Yes, yeah,
It's like having two magnifying glasses.
yes, yeah. So my son got this thing on his feet where a bunch of little blisters came up, just all of a sudden, a bunch of little
Oh,
blisters.
ah.
Really painful, you know. He's crying and stuff, and he's really scared, feeling very, very fearful. And he goes, "Mom, do you know what it is?" And I go, "No, but I'm sure it's just passing through."
Oh, I like that. It does. Absolutely.
Sure, it's just passing through, and you know, I could sense that there's a relief in him, and sure enough, it's just passing through. And in the meantime, we could take care of it and bring some comfort. We can get you know, a warm foot bath with some essential oil, maybe some salt, maybe some vinegar.
Oh, you're so wonderful.
Isn't it fun?
Yes, it is. Conjuring up the medicine and the
Yeah,
potions and the magic.
yeah, yeah. I know this is just passing through, and it's just an effect of the mind. But in the meantime, let's have fun and
Yes,
nurture
thank
this
you.
one that is in pain.
All right.
Yeah,
Keep on dancing.
yeah, exactly. Yes, I felt that today. I was dancing while making
Yay.
an egg and cream cheese sandwich for my son. I was like, wow,
Oh,
good.
ooh, that's a good one. I'm going to try that one. Egg and cream cheese. Ooh,
That's right. It doesn't matter
sounds,
what it is.
yeah,
But now that you got,
sounds creamy.
yeah,
Creamy.
creamy.
Yeah. Mm.
Yay. So I have some other people who have joined. If anyone would like to speak with me, please raise your hand, or you can, as you know, I think everyone has been on here before, put a question in, write a question in. And yeah, it's fun to talk with you. I love you. Thank you for coming. So what else, Kaunohi?
Oh, what happened to the folks?
What folks?
The one that's joining us.
Oh, well, the way we do it, we take one at a time,
Yeah.
and people just raise their hand if they want to communicate.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Awesome. Wow, I
Yeah.
hope you folks raising your hands out there.
Talk to me or Kaunohi. Kaunohi, you've been around here for a while. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm actually from Oahu on the windward side,
Hmm.
and I graduated with a bachelor's degree, and I moved to the Big Island and worked in the human service field for 10 years.
Sweet.
In the whole scope of the family, from the babies to the grandmothers. So I was
Nice.
able to see the services and the needs of our community, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And definitely education in all fields, in all sciences, right? That
Yeah.
we may know more and that we may be sovereign and independent to take care of ourselves and our communities, however we can kokua, you know, support.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, and you know, of course, that is a beautiful vision, and you know, with seeing the vision actually complete, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
actually complete because it is, because the
Hmm.
real world, it already exists. It's not like it's not like it's apart from us. It already exists. This world that seems, you know, it feels kind of awkward and stuff. That's because it's just make believe, and it doesn't really exist. So so it's like there's always this pull to go into it as if we are doers and we have to do something about a perceived problem. And you know, the thing is that the whole perception actually comes out of us.
Hmm.
Actually, what we're perceiving is coming out of us. So if we're willing to look past the perception of the problem in the first place, all of the pieces, the conceptual pieces, just kind of like come together to look like they made this thing, but it's not like we as individuals have to take on any kind of worldly challenge on our own.
Right. You're correct.
Isn't that relaxing?
Oh, I love it. Now I know what retirement means.
Yeah, yeah. It's true. Retirement, it can be done at any age.
It's true. It's true. And like you said, it's not about doing, it's about being.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
So
you
much
know,
easier.
just like to give you a for instance, before Wisdom Dialogues, I was just making some macaroni and cheese for my son, and all of a sudden a feeling arose as if something was wrong.
Ooh.
And it came up in my body, and immediately I noticed it's just passing through.
Nice revelation.
And then it's gone. See? So then it doesn't gather any of my energy, and it's not I'm not carrying it.
Mm-hmm.
See? I'm not looking for what's wrong. The first time I noticed I was looking for what's wrong, I was maybe 19 years old, and I had this same kind of intense energy sensation come up, and immediately my mind was looking to, I know something's wrong. What is it? I'm going to find out what's wrong and fix it before I get in trouble.
I hear you. Yes, yes.
Yeah. So recognizing that is just a pattern. The idea that something's wrong, and you know, it always comes along with an idea of being separate. You know, there can't be anything wrong unless there's belief in it in a separate self, because it's all coming out of us. It's not happening to us as it appears to.
Right. Practice non-attachment.
and here's the thing. If attachment happens, and in the moment there's not the willingness, because that's what it comes down to, is a willingness in the moment. There's not a strong enough willingness. It could also be called devotion in that moment, and attachment is there, and you know, it's just going, I'm attached, and I can't be unattached. Notice that what is attached is not actually who you are. You're experiencing attachment. Again, it's just passing through.
Right.
just like the little blisters on my son's feet. It's no different.
Exactly. How wonderful. Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about a diagnose.
Yeah. For sure. So if it's noticed that it's just passing through, it's kind of like, it's okay, I can experience this for the moment.
Yeah.
I'm okay, I can experience this intense energy. It's not saying anything about my future, it's not saying anything about me, it's not saying anything that's meaningful, it's just there to be experienced.
Aye, yes.
And then it's fully embraced. And I could feel the transformation. I could feel it. I could feel it arise, and I could feel it just as quickly leave. You know, and I know that's available for everyone. It's just that there's such a temptation to buy into the idea that something's wrong and that we fix it, because it makes it go fast. And the ego loves that when our mind's going really fast and we're identifying with it.
Right.
Yes. Yay. All right, I got a hand. Okay, Molly's going to join us. Aloha, Molly.
Hi, Hope. Aloha.
Aloha. Yay.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks for joining.
Yay.
Yay.
Well, yeah. Inspired when you said the mind is running really fast, clinging on to thoughts. It loves to do that. And I wanted to be reminded of the wisdom around the feelings of overwhelm.
Yeah.
And I realized some of this kind of illusion of getting older is, for me, having something to do with this perpetual, there's not enough time. I'm sitting in my beautiful library looking at all my beautiful books, like, how do I read all these books, and how do I do all the things I want to do in this world? And, you know, and time is running out, so, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of projections there. I can point them out to you if you like.
Yes, please. That's what I'm here for.
One of them is of course that there's any value to reading any books apart from spirit.
Mm.
Okay, because knowledge is basically ignorance if it's pursued apart from spirit.
Mm.
Okay, there's nothing that you need to know, nothing that you need to learn that isn't coming to you. It seems like you're going to it. But time and space isn't really what it seems. It seems like we're traveling in time across space, but it's like time is still, and these picture frames are changing. That's all. I know I've said that a lot of times, but
now that you say that, I'm looking at my books and being like, I have read most of these, and they come, and they have the resource books, like they have the information when it's needed.
yeah.
They really do come when they're needed. That's really funny. I looked at them and they all look different.
Oh, how funny! They didn't look. They didn't show you. They weren't acting as proof of your failure.
They were before. They were before. Oh my
Yeah.
God. That's exactly what it is.
So that's basically an example of the ego using a perception to attack you.
Ugh. Loves to do that.
Isn't it fun though to see it?
Yeah, it is when you see it.
Yeah. He was like, I see you messing around. I see you messing around. Yeah. What do you have to say about that, Kaunoe? Anything?
Oh, thank you for sharing about the books, the collection of books. I collected books over my time also, and I was thinking, why am I holding on to those books? Because I don't read them anymore. I haven't read them for years. Is there something else I have to dust?
Yeah.
So I'm going to let go of my books. Anybody want books?
Yeah. Feels good, huh?
It does.
Yeah. Yeah. So everything that we seem to do is symbolic too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's all for fun. So
What
what
do you
else?
think, Molly? What do you think, Molly?
Well, yeah, I mean, to me, they're a symbol of all that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's all shifted now, so that's great. But it's more of that overwhelm and that proof of failure because, oh well, it's because I have so many talents or things I want to do, and so then I never really do, like, you know, I really can't do it all, and then I'm failing, always failing.
Awesome. Awesome.
And all overwhelmed, and not always overwhelmed, but there's always a long to-do list.
Yeah. Great. Great. I mean, Molly, I have experience with that totally. I mean, it's never ending. I'll tell you that right now. You'll never be caught up to the point where it ended.
Yeah.
And the feeling of frustration is a symbol that you're trying to do something separate from spirit. You're going along with a belief that you need to harness your talents. You know, and it's not like that. Like as an individual, you can't harness your talents. Anyone who tries to do that ends up in suffering. It has to be given up. It has to be given over to spirit to use however spirit sees fit. So not trying to get a particular outcome.
It's really cool to observe how there's a fear that came up the moment you said that.
Yeah, and what's the fear about?
Well, like the fear of giving it up to spirit, you know.
Uh-huh.
Of some, you know, it's like I can't identify it as the ego, but I can feel something go, ah.
Yeah, well, you know, you can say that's that fearful energy. You know, some people call that your inner child. It's like asking for compassion. It's like what I take to be true right now, with what I take to be true right now, that makes me feel very afraid. Okay.
Right.
So it's like allowing compassion for that energy. That's
Right.
in your energy body. You know, that's a
Right.
part of your energy body. So it's like allowing the compassion for that scared child. It's like, with what I know, with basically with what I've been told
Right.
about this reality, I am scared to death of that, Molly. And it's just kind of like it's kind of like, you know, it's like allowing that feeling to be fully experienced and embraced for what it is, and and it it shows it ends up being shown to you that you can fully trust your spirit to take care of everything.
When does it get fully shown, or how?
Through that embrace with, and when the fearful sensation comes up, because what our habit is to sense that fearful energy, just like I gave an example, is to sense that fearful energy arising in our bodies, and to just automatically not want whatever we think is going to bring on that fearful energy. But it's already there. It's already there. We can just embrace it right now, and then it's taken care of.
Right. Well, when it came up now, I guess since I'm talking to you, it was more like, oh, there's that cool. Like it was more like, oh, there's an observation, but it didn't.
Right.
It didn't stay long because
Yeah.
I think because we're in the wisdom dialogues.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's in the really, like, literally being shown to you, the just passing through way right now. And then maybe when you're not talking to me, it might show up different, where it kind of hangs on. And then you're just having compassion for whatever's feeling that upset, fearful energy in your own energy field.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be shown to you. It takes surrendering, though, and that's what there's such an unwillingness to do, and it's only because of fear.
Yeah.
Taking care of that kind of like crying child, you know, taking care of that kind of that and soothing that energy is any kind of upset energy can be immediately soothed just through surrendering it over. Just through surrendering any of the thoughts that say why it's there, trying to get it, anything, just being with that feeling, just being with it is what shows the way through.
Yeah, I always notice after those moments just how it all just shifts around in such a nice way.
Because the perception changes. That's all it is. It's all perception. The perception gets healed if you'll recognize, you know, go back to, it's an emotional journey. Everything that I perceive is like a picture painted out of the way I reacted to thoughts, the way I've been reacting to thoughts. It's like a picture painting like that. So you know, it's like recognizing that and acknowledging that, and actually and then finally experiencing that too. It's like you don't even need trust. It's kind of like simple math. If there's a resting right here, if there's just allowing it to be as it is, then everything shows up beautifully. If not, then there's a bunch of suffering. There's depression, there's all kinds of upset, there's confusion. So it becomes so simple, because why feed that? You know, why feed that? Anything that says you're separate, or anything that says that there's not enough time. You know, there's no such thing as time, and it's not really moving like that.
Right. It really feels like the I am separate part. I feel really. No, I'm not gonna say like good with, but like I feel like I can really like sort of talk myself with that in a nice way. Like, oh, that's cute, you know, like you think you're, and I have a little bit more of a dialogue. It's that I am the doer that's so strong, you know, that
That's basically separation.
yeah.
So see the I am the doer is a projection from the ego, basically saying, see, separation's real, and here's how it feels. Yeah, it gives evidence to separation. So it's like, see, separation's real, and by the way, here's how it feels to be separate.
Yeah, I mean, it appears as though that is validated everywhere in the
Yeah,
world.
exactly. That's exactly it. Yep, you're seeing it, and you're gonna start to see that it is in fact everywhere. And anytime you can see through it, it's a total blessing. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, anytime you see through it, it's anywhere, any place, any one of those projections that says there's not enough time. The I'm getting old. You know, we are watching a movie here. It's so much more like that than it is to say I'm in a body that's aging. You know, we are actually it's so much closer to, it's not actually, but so much closer to watching a movie. If we can liken it to that, everything that we do, everything, and the movie is being written as we go according to our reactions.
Mm.
Okay? So you see the reactions all over the place. You see what's going on. And you notice, and you know, in noticing that, it can't live in your energy field. Even in noticing it in other energy fields, you know, in other bodies, the resistance, there's just a willingness to embrace even that. You know, there's not even pushing people away who seem to be in resistance or anything. It's just like if they show up in resistance, there's even an embrace of that, because that is also a projection coming from our own energy field. We can't even perceive it otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
no
Wait, but
con.
what do you mean our own energy field?
Okay, so it's like this. There's a what is it called? The field of energy, I guess. It can be called a bunch of different things. The field of energy, like whatever's the energy that out of which everything is being made manifest, like a field of energy, let's say. Okay, and within that field of energy, these energy bodies have energy fields which are projecting the bodies, which are projecting the physical bodies. But they're not only projecting the physical body, they're also projecting everything perceived, everything that can be perceived. See? So nothing can come from outside of us.
But
And everything we perceive is really ourself.
where is there a separate energy, like, because you said our own energy field, where does
Okay.
this separate energy
It's what we can sense. It's what we can sense in the energy. You know how what we can sense with our body senses. Let's say like that. We sense the waves of emotional energy coming through. See that? We sense
Yeah.
the waves of emotional. Yeah. So everyone is experiencing it different from different points of view. Everyone's experiencing the illusion differently. So that's what I'm referring to.
Right.
These energy fields aren't in any way separate, but they appear to be separate because there's individual experiences happening
Oh, okay. Yeah.
through them.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
So that's why we share so much. That's why we feel each other. That's why when we can communicate, we have effect. You know, we have energetic effects on each other, even if we're not close to each other or talking or anything.
Right.
Yeah. But even energy, I like to point this out. I like to go back to even energy is an illusion. Is that? so what we're talking about here is like the hierarchy of stuff in the illusion, but really there's no hierarchy or anything.
Right.
No. But the way we're experiencing it as energy. We're experiencing it as a sensation in our body, even if we don't know it. It's unconscious because out of that sensation, this perception arises. For a lot of us, we're numb to the sensation because we are so focused on the perception. The perception, well, you know, sensation is also perception, but we're so focused on the physical perception that we've kind of become numb to how it's actually being made up and projected from our energy field. Every single perception has a resonant energy in our energy field.
Right. That I get.
It's all for fun.
Yeah, that I get.
Sorry, but
Because and see, you see how it's all for fun too, because you start to see how these these projections of something's wrong, all it is an attack of an ego that was only made to protect you from what you perceive to be an external world.
Right.
It's all innocent. It's all so innocent. So it's not like you even need to resist the ego. Just in watching the ego play out, it's noticed that all it's doing is carrying out what we've already taken as true. It's trying to carry that out for us, to try to protect us from this world. And in that trying to protect us, it's making more threats that we seem to need to be protected against. But really, it's only making perceptions of threats, because there's no threat. Not even the Earth is at risk. Okay? There's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. That's only the perception of anything that seems to be threatened. That perception is only there to get a reaction. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, it reminds me of the Bhagavad Gita, the unreal never is, the real never ceases to be. So it's, in a way, why worry about the world when it's all temporary anyways?
See, that's a different approach. That's a little bit of a different approach. You know, to me, my perception of the world is also very important in the sense that if there's a reaction coming up in me, that's where compassion is being asked for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's how the perception is important. That's how this manifest world is important to me. And you know, in allowing that compassion for whatever arises that says, oh no, not that. Oh no, I'm scared. I'm afraid. I'm angry. You know, anything like that. There's just an openness and compassion for that child. It's a really ignorance is one word, but you know, it sounds a little bit cruel, and that's not my meaning at all. It's also been called unskillful. You know, like just not recognizing the truth, just being completely blindsided by what we've been taught to take as real.
Yeah, it reminds me of that phrase, a child of God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And that's the way the Course in Miracles, A Course in Miracles, it's called, teaches it as in a child of God. And, you know, it's like when I first saw that, felt very resistant to it because I was raised in a Christian missionary, which most people would refer to as a cult, and it was called the Children of God. But you know, it's like I totally can see through that, you know, and see that children of God, yeah, it makes so much sense because the way it's shown to me, it's like there's this God energy. It doesn't have to be God. It could be called love if that resonates better. And there's a thought, and the thought is like all of us in all of our unique glory. But it's not anything like the images we've made of ourselves. It's nothing like that.
Right.
And a larger part of ourselves, that original immaculate thought, is already aware and experiencing the real world. It's just that there's a thought of separation, and now there's this experience of separation because the thought gets believed, and the way this experience of separation, this dream state, becomes a happy dream is through seeing that all those projections that say we're separate again and again and again are only there to try to get a reaction out of us, kind of like a bratty little brother. Okay.
I was the youngest, so that would be me.
Oh, okay, well you can't relate, but I don't know. Maybe you've seen movies.
No, I relate to it being myself.
Oh, awesome! Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, you were just doing it to get a reaction. See, you were totally innocent. Yeah, so then you see that it's getting a reaction. For me, I just see what's getting a reaction and recognize that's a pattern. And just notice it and experience it. And, you know, some people call that detachment. It's been called detachment because you're not experiencing it as if, oh, God, this is happening to me and I got to get out of it. you're experiencing as it is as an, oh yes, yes, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh no, you have anything to add to that?
I was just saying elementary, dear Watson.
No, put some Sherlock in there. That's awesome.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah. Get curious.
Mhm.
Playfully curious.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay?
Oh.
Yay. All right, I love you. I love you, Molly. So you good, Molly?
Oh,
For the
yeah.
moment? You can always raise your hand again.
Okay, no, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Aloha.
Aloha.
That was insightful.
Wasn't that fun?
That was
So
fun.
here's Yulia now. Yulia's really fun.
Awesome.
Aloha, Yulia.
Hello, Hope. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah, it's like the more I listen to you, the more I've been going through all the recent experiences and hearing you. It's like it's becoming difficult to ask questions because
Uh-huh.
I kind of should know the answer to all of them, and I kind of do, but it's still fun.
Yeah. Well, you're only asking yourself, and like Molly said, she's just looking for a reminder, and it's like you're only asking yourself, and it's fun and it's playful and it's here. So thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I still sometimes get just states or experiences that are somewhat heavy, and of course, I just let them be, and of course, I still just recognize that I want them to end, and that's also a thought, that all of it is just a projection. So it is getting a little lighter, which is also, I guess, a perception. So.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. The perception changes.
Right.
So how I experience it first is at first the perception just got lighter. Like whatever I was experiencing, it felt more okay. And it didn't change a lot on the surface. But then over time, the surface perception, the physical perception, starts to mirror the inner landscape.
And then sometimes, I go and some feeling comes up, and I remind myself of being compassionate towards that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it wants to spin out into self-pity.
Okay.
And you become so like, oh, poor me, and I didn't get that, and that didn't happen, or something like that. And yeah, and I note that too, as just another, I guess, experience, another projection.
Yeah, and I can relate to
how
that.
it's separate from me. Yeah, but it can be pretty enticing to indulge that too.
To indulge in that, yes, exactly. And the same thing was for me. I could just see this child so upset, just so upset. It's like, and the words that were coming, the feeling that was coming, it was kind of like this, "Mommy, how can you do that to me?" Like that. And I felt so bad for her, which felt like it's me, and it's like, and just allowing that to be there and recognizing, in recognizing that that's projected from my own energy field, and in a willingness to see that it's projecting from my own energy field. So then I don't have to go along with that temptation to be in wallowing in self-pity. Like I can experience self-pity, but if I'm not believing that it's actually about me, then I can be there sort of as a really kind mother, guardian, grandmother, whatever, for whatever it is that's hurting in me. Whatever it is that seems to be hurting in my energy field.
Yeah, it almost felt like time travel occasionally.
Yes.
Which is actually something I did. Remember Christine, the one that actually told me about you?
Yes.
In her sessions, she does something that is a little bit like that, where you find a sensation, it brings up whatever image. Sometimes it's a memory, not necessarily, but often it's a memory, And I used to have a really hard time with that. I used to judge it. Like, why are you like making me think up all this stuff? It's like almost like it seems like it should fit a pattern. But then it would always turn out to be something that was a bit of a discovery. And
Yes.
and you would all like kind of comfort yourself in the past or your past self.
That's what happens. Yeah,
But
I
what I've
felt
been
that.
doing lately, I mean, all of that's been coming up, but sometimes I find this inconsolable self that just won't be consoled, you know.
Okay, well, just stay steady with that one.
Mhm.
It's just there's so much fear wrapped around it. There's so much fear wrapped around a surrender. There's the conditioning that you've experienced in this lifetime, and it's like these energy bodies, they go from lifetime to lifetime. This energy body that we're experiencing, it goes from lifetime to lifetime, and it's just conditioned. So it's a very fearful energy, and it just it's kind of like you can see it in a really loving relationship, where someone's going through it. Maybe they're just feeling really afraid of everything, and then their partner or friend or whatever is just stays steady with them, and it's like, it's okay, I love you, you're okay, I'm never going to leave you. It's kind of like that. It's like, how are you, and with that, I love you like that, and being with that child, it ends up reflecting in the world too. You end up seeing that you have that kind of relationship in your relationships with other people, because it's all a reflection of the relationship with that that which is hurting within you. If there's a compassion for that which is hurting within you, you're going to notice that there's a sense of compassion coming from other people toward you as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Also another, I guess, projection, well, let's call them this, has been coming up lately a lot, and it's attachment to a place or an idea that if I go to that place, I'll be so happy, and just wanting to go there. So of course, it's made of memories, partially, of being there, right? And these memories become idealized, and I've had this before in my life, and you can see I'm a person who moved from countries to countries, and from place to place, and I travel the world for work. I travel like crazy, which I love. So I have my relationships with places.
Okay.
And lately I've been becoming sort of, I don't want to say where or why or what, but I've been becoming somewhat obsessed with going to this particular place. And I almost did for work, and then it didn't work out. Of course, this is not, the end of the world. But it's like, I understand it's also a projection, but what's up with that?
Well, it's just another way to launch an attack on you. Any kind of longing, any kind of wanting, anything like that. It's just another way to launch it's like an attack on your energy field. It's like
There's a sweetness to it, though. Like,
yes,
you
yes.
like escape, and it is even to the world, and who says I can't go there at least to visit,
Well, exactly, and that's the thing. And anything could arise in the perception, and that's what it does. It only arises in the perception. Anything can arise in the perception, and you don't actually know what you want. That longing to go to that place, is a symbol of longing to awaken from this dream. Every longing in this experience, for places, for people, for things, it's just a symbol. It's like a reflection of longing to be home, where we never really left.
Why does it express itself in such an odd way, though?
What's that?
Why does it express itself in such an odd way, though?
Well, it's an illusion. It expresses itself in whatever way it needs to express to get a reaction out of you. And longing is a reaction.
It is.
Yeah.
So all you do with it is just observe
underneath the longing is fear. It all comes down to that. It all comes down to being in the illusion of separation.
And the fear is of things not being as you want them to be, or something like that.
Yeah, as you think you want them to be. But but you know, you only really want whatever it is that's arising in the perception, because whatever it is that's arising in the perception can show you the way out of perceiving altogether. First, the perception becomes very happy, and then ultimately it's the way out of perceiving altogether.
Mm-hmm. But wait a minute. All I want is what's arising in my perception, meaning everything as it is, the place where I'm at, but also the longing that I have. It's also there.
Yes, that sensation of longing, that is also part of the perception, and that's there to be embraced.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just there to be embraced.
Not judged for sure, and it can be played with, of course.
Not judged, and not taken to mean that something's missing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not taking as if it says something that's true. If it's saying that something's missing right now or things will be better, you know, that's not saying anything that's true. Because everything only gets better through you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it doesn't get better through changing the picture frames.
Yeah. But I know that if I think back, even though there's no time, there's still memories.
Sure.
Where I had the same kind of longing for other things or places, and I ultimately got them. And when I got them, I had different longings.
Yep, it's never ending. So it's looking through the pattern of longing in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's burning that whole pattern at its roots. Now you can take anything that you have a longing for, that you feel a longing for. And you know, in that one thing, it'll affect longing completely across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And then there is a fear that I will have like no fun in this life because there's nothing that I'll want or something like that. that just came up just this very second.
Yeah.
But how am I gonna like really be passionate about anything if I burn all my longing?
And that's the thing, you know. It's like for me, you know, that burden of longing, you know, was largely lifted just like a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, or something like that. And I can tell you, without that, things just seem to happen. It just through me exactly as they need to happen. I mean, it seems like, you know, as an individual, I'm plenty productive, and then I'm still like, it seems like I'm laying around a lot too. Like it seems like time's been stretched. You know, it's like because it's just a perception.
Mm-hmm.
So you've heard people say, the only thing to shift is your perception. The only thing that can shift is your perception. It's all a perception.
Mm-hmm.
So it just seems like there's less time, and it's all because of concepts, but there isn't. There's not a such thing. There can't be less time, because time isn't actually like a finite and moving thing. It's just that's what gives you an experience of things happening in a sequence, but they're not really happening in a sequence like that. The whole experience is unfolding out of us. It's unfolding out of our emotional frequency. Let's say that we're going to receive the exact match of our emotional frequency as we're feeling in that moment. That's what we can expect. That's why in the moment there's compassion. There's an allowance for compassion for whatever we're experiencing. We can expect blessings.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how they're going to show up, but we expect that. You know, and everything is a blessing, but you know, you start to perceive it as a blessing. And when you can perceive it as a blessing, when you can see that it's a blessing, you can activate the potential of love that you are in the moment, and that's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really fun. It's super playful, because it seems like maybe you're in a conversation with someone, and it seems like, whoa, this just got serious. I could feel it, like something, you know, now I need to take control or something like that. And in that moment where there's just compassion for whatever you're feeling and relating, there's a healing that takes place. And you know, like I said earlier, our minds are not separate. We totally feel each other, So that's how we heal each other.
Mhm.
Okay? And we
Yeah.
heal together. We heal together. We heal the mind together because we're not separate, and we are not what needs healing. Okay?
Was he seeing the projections?
Yeah. Well, the projections and these. Well, the beliefs are like wounds. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
And the projections are like the effects of being wounded.
Uh-huh.
So that out of that wound, these projections that say, what were some of the projections today? I don't have enough time, whatever. Some of the projections, they're projection out of a wound, basically.
Right. Or this didn't happen in my life, and I didn't have that, and I don't have this. Something.
Yeah, that's all. Yes, that's all the same.
And there's that sensation, of trying to lean into the future, like lean into it a little bit and control it, have some degree of control.
Yeah. And you won't believe. I can tell that you can't even imagine how well all of the concepts are organized and put together when there's just allowing that to happen automatically. And the way to allow it automatically, when you feel that leaning into the future, it's sort of like a just settling in to what's arising in the perception right now. What's arising in the perception right now. You might picture yourself standing still and picture frames changing. It's all arising in the perception, and then a reaction in your body to those picture frames.
I just had that experience recently. Like, I knew the whole theory for a long time, but one thing is to know the words in the theory, another thing is just to have a glimpse of that, how, wait a minute, everything really is only now, because all the memories, all the past, whatever I think about the future, is just right here, that's all.
Yes.
And that's, again, I've heard that a million times, but I really, saw this. And then you mentioned the picture frames today, wow, it's true.
Yeah, and the more you...
The thing of that, all of that is connected by memory, this perception of self. And when I did have a memory of something, it's like that self didn't exist, and that was scary. Like, I had an experience of full anesthesia where I remember the moment when I was falling asleep into it, and then the next moment, and I didn't realize there was time passed in between.
Yeah, just one picture frame.
Like, wait a minute, but where was I? There was no me, you know?
Yeah. It just went from one picture frame to the next for you. Yeah. Skipped over that part. Kalnohi, you still with us?
I am.
Yay. You have anything to share that bring up anything that inspired you?
I've been practicing just being, the beingness of me, because over time when I used to plan, it never happened. There's always something that came in the way of maybe a priority at the moment, right? So you have to take care of that, right? So I'm learning to let go and just live in the moments, that I have. And if I want to go somewhere, at least I can say I'm going to go there.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to go. But to plan ahead of it doesn't seem to happen that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, that's not even so much physical planning. Like, say I'm booking a reservation to go somewhere or whatever. It doesn't even have to do with physical planning. It's just planning as if relying on a certain outcome. Like even a reservation for a vacation can be booked just for the fun in that moment and for the experience in that moment, for noticing whatever is arising in that moment and being deeply into the experience, into the fun of the experience, without a need for it to manifest as an actual vacation, even though it's on that trajectory.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. So it's not like it. What's that?
We're almost there.
I see it. I see it, Kaunohi. I see it, and it's so fun. it's so amazing to experience it because, you know, it's sort of like, you know, I feel like a kid just, oh, it really is like I thought it was, you know? This is the way I normally, like, as a child, thought it was.
That's like singing dogs here. You know how
You
it
got
is?
singing dogs? Great.
They like to greet people.
Yulia's back. You're with us again, Yulia.
Yeah, I think about not being there and I disappeared.
Perfect.
Because the internet went out.
Great. Great.
I got the experience of not being there. So other people had their experience of time passing by, whatever their picture frames. Well, I didn't. So they're like, I got frozen, my pictures got frozen, and theirs continued. So that was like the thing that happened apparently, just like here.
Yeah. That's great.
I just got the same experience.
Yeah. Just reenacted it.
Yeah, you guys were there and I was gone, and then I'm back.
All right, you got anything else for me, Yulia?
I want to thank you for your medicine of laughter. Thank you for your medicine.
Yeah. That laughter's some deep medicine.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yes.
Okay, so Yulia, you have
but I completely forgot anything I wanted to talk about now.
Oh. Okay. Sweet.
But anyway, yes, I'll just continue on, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if anyone else,
thank you.
Thank
just
you.
Awesome as usual. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yulia. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Hope. Appreciate you too. Love you.
Love you.
Love you too, Hope.
Thank you, Kaunoe.
Aloha, ahui ho.
Aloha. All right. If anyone else would like to speak with me, please raise your hand. You can also type questions in the question box. I feel to talk about something else. So if you guys are into it, here it is. So it has to do with the thing about food and substances seemingly having an effect on our bodies, okay? This is something I've talked about a lot, but it really gets misunderstood. You know, it seems like maybe if we eat a really big meal, we might feel some discomfort in our stomach, right? And then say, oh, it's because of the food. Okay. It seems to be because of the food that there's a pain in the stomach because of the digestion and all of that. But look, the food and the feeling, they're both illusions. They're two illusions, and illusions can't really affect each other. There's the body and the food. Both illusions. Okay? One can't really have an effect on the other. So in looking at this and noticing in this, I'm not trying to encourage people to say, oh, I'm just going to eat whatever I want since it doesn't do anything to me. Because here's the deal. These things, these beliefs are unconscious. Okay? They're unconscious beliefs. So you can't just say, like, go down to the ocean, there's like 50-foot waves going, and it's like, oh, my body isn't real, the water isn't real, so I'm just going to walk out there and nothing's going to happen to me, or whatever. There's lots of examples that could be given. But the thing is seeing that it is a projection. That is a projection. Any kind of feeling of illness, same as upset or anything like that, it's a projection of thought. Doesn't mean that that thing actually affected you. Actually, the mind is being affected, and the perception of your body is projected by that mind. Okay, it's totally a projection. So for looking at this in an intelligent way. Is simply noticing the same thing with any projection. Simply noticing where there's a projection of that did that to you. Noticing how that feels in the body. recognizing that it's a projection, experiencing it. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that to disrespect the illusion, okay? Because we've given so much power to the illusion subconsciously, and that doesn't mean it actually has the power. We still have full dominion. We still have full dominion, but we have to see through these illusions. We have to see through what's unconsciously there. So it doesn't mean that we need to grasp onto, and this is how the ego works, grasp onto this concept. Oh shit, I could have been eating whatever I wanted this whole time. Now I'm just going to go mac out on all this stuff because it's all okay, because nothing, and you know, people are getting disillusioned that way. And then there's defensiveness. If there's any defensiveness about the idea that food cannot affect your body, that's not a true understanding. That means if someone comes up to you, once you have the believed understanding that food doesn't affect your body, and you're experiencing a cramp maybe, or and someone says, well, that's because of all that food that you just ate, and you feel a sense of defensiveness about that coming up, that's also a symbol that you haven't understood. It's taking it. It's the ego's taking that concept and making it into something that needs to be defended. Remember, every perception the ego throws out there, and it's all a perception, all this separation, is to get a reaction out of you. Okay? So just the idea that you can be separate comes about in a lot of different ways. And one of them is that food can affect you. Well, the evidence is clear that food affects you. The evidence is clear to the deluded mind that food affects you. Because the mind is deluded, it can only project evidence of what it already believes to be true. And that's why the evidence is there that the food affects you. That's fine. And also, there's a matter of trusting that your body is going to be exactly as it needs to be in order to awaken. It's going to give the best opportunity to awaken. It's going to be exactly as it needs to be. So then everything can be met with gratitude. Even the experience of an upset stomach, and there's a projection that, oh, I have this upset stomach because of this food. Even that whole experience, it is important in that it's bringing up an energy sensation of uncomfort, and it's because of thoughts being taken as true. It's because they're false beliefs being taken as true, and that's all. And that's where our dominion comes in, because there's this projection in the moment that I'm vulnerable to food. In the moment, there's a projection that there's vulnerability to food. When I'm unconsciously believing that, or consciously trying to reject it and saying, no, I know, can't be affected by food, I'm not experiencing the experience of this scared child who thinks it is affected by food, who really feels this to be real. Okay? That's how it's seen through. And automatically, naturally, we're drawn toward whatever foods we need to be drawn for whatever experience needs to represent the beliefs we're taking as true, so that we could see through them. Because as we see through this illusion, it gets lighter and lighter. It's a lighter and lighter experience. It's a very happy dream. It's so loving and peaceful and calm. There's no need for conflict. There's no need for making yourself do anything. There's no need for making the self into anything. There's no need to escape the dream anymore. But the dream is being escaped, because as it gets lighter and lighter, it's not there's going to be no dreaming. Just once there's awakening from this dream, there's no returning to it. There's no need, because all of the illusions have been seen, and they've been it could be said rightfully judged, as in seen as for what they actually are, as illusions. And that's all. So hooray. That's something that I've been looking to share for a couple days, and I've actually shared it a couple times, and it's super fun to share with you today. If anyone would like me to elaborate on that or have any questions, raise your hand. If you'd like to talk about anything else, raise your hand. And thank you so much for being on Wisdom Dialogues. If I don't see any hands or questions anytime soon, I'm going to sign out. And thank you, Kaunohi, for joining us today. Thank you, everyone. I see you all here, and I appreciate you, and I love you. And this is sponsored by Miracle Botanicals, our essential oils. They're really awesome. If you feel like you like to support Wisdom Dialogues, you can refer your friends if you're not into essential oils or whatever. Yeah, it's fun. We love it. And we don't need the business, so no need. And it's really my pleasure to be here with you. I love you so much. Thank you. Tuesdays at 3, Wisdom Dialogues online. Check out my Facebook page. Wait a minute, what is it? Facebook/groups/Wisdom Dialogues. And then you'll get notified. You'll get the link and stuff if you're watching on YouTube. Okay, I love you. Many blessings to everyone. And ahui ho! Love.